We're back. We're back. And badder than ever. We're radder than ever. We're yeah, we're back. We're back. I just wanted to say that this is my third book review in one night, and I'm really happy about it. The phone is on 5%, but that's not gonna stop us. That's not gonna stop us. I'm just happy to be doing another book review. This is another title I wanted to hit you with and let you know to check out. Just a disclaimer to start, I want to say that this book is definitely high up there in my favorites. It's right next to The Fisherman and a book called Urban Gothic by Brian Keene that I will do a review for eventually. I already have a review for The Fisherman up that you can go check out on my channel. But anyway, I'm going to get right into this next one. I hold it right up there with those two others. So that's how important this book was to me and how good it was. That book is Joe Hill's Heart-Shaped Box. Now, I guess I was skeptical going into reading this book because I read reviews saying that the ghost in the story is sort of boring and things like that. Now, I'm not giving anything away by saying that the ghost in this book is an old man, okay? It's an old man, all right? But we've seen things like Insidious and I think it was Insidious that and probably The Conjuring. We've seen enough ghost movies to know that an old ghost is just as scary as a young ghost. And I would argue that an old ghost is scarier than a young ghost, okay? So I don't know what all that flack was about. I went and read this book, and I thought it was deeply entertaining and immersive, just like any well-crafted horror novel should be. It should be deeply immersive, and this book absolutely was. By the end of it, I found myself feeling kind of sad and empty, like, damn, I have to let go of these characters, you know? So that's the personal part of my review. Now I'll get into the plot. It's basically about an aging death metal rock legend, Judas Coin. So it's this 50-year-old guy who's basically a retired rock star, and he has this collection of like macabre, horror, obscure things, you know, and he sees this ad online for a dead man suit with a ghost attached to it. You know, the ghost is basically possessing the suit, if you will, and so he puts an offer out online, and being this type of a person, he sees an ad for a haunted suit, you know, a dead man suit, and he has to get it. You know, you really understand his character throughout the story and why he decides to do this. You know, he's a really dark kind of a guy. There were a lot of things that I really related to in this book, just the main character, and I read a lot about how the main character was, you know, very unlikable and things like that because of his dark humor, and he's kind of an asshole, but it's explained why he's like that. Like, he does have his reasons, you know. Not to say that all the things he did were called for in any shape or form, you know, but he's just a dark character, you know, and you gotta know going in that you're gonna take a ride in someone else's shoes or whatever, you know. Like, you may not be a dark person, but the main character is a dark person, and you're here to, you know, go on their ride with them, if that makes sense. You're gonna go on the night road with them, you know. And if you've read the book, you know what the night road is. Anyway, not to ramble, sorry about that. Basically what happens is this retired rock star gets the suit. He has it in his house, and as soon as he gets it, strange things start happening, just like you would expect. And it's really great. It's really well done, I think. there's a lot of things I loved about it. I loved the ghost. There's a lot of cool supernatural things that happen in this book. The ghost has cool ways of communicating with you and influencing the living, which I really enjoyed. There's this great scene in a diner where the ghost communicates through another person, and they communicate through that thing people who used to smoke have to talk with. You know what I'm talking about? The buzzer thing. They got that hole in their neck and a little like this metal piece that they press. It's like a button and it helps them talk. Well, in this book, they're in a restaurant, and across, a few tables over or whatever, the ghost starts talking through this random person, and it's very alarming and cool. And also the ghost has a way of communicating through like the radio and stuff like that. And sure, I've seen things like that before, but none of the things I was thinking of do it quite like this book, like, though there are certain themes that I've seen done before, this book feels very original in my opinion. That, like I said, that's just my opinion, but I really enjoyed the ride that this book took me on. I'm just going down, or I don't have to do that. Sorry. I really enjoyed the what do you call it? The main character and his girlfriend going on this crazy journey to basically get rid of this ghost. And it turns out, I'm not going to give anything away, but there was a lot more behind this ad being made online for a Dead Man's Suit. There was bad intention there. That's all I'm going to say. There is a much deeper thing going on. Another thing I liked about this book is the main character is really dark and flawed in a lot of ways, but through everything that happens, you see the main character seeing the error in their ways, I guess you could say, and it's a very humbling thing to read. Not only that, like the journey they go on and the shit they go through is just insane in this book. Basically, the ghost is not going to let go of him, He's not going to stop until he's dead and anybody else he loves, So it's a really intense, like, thrilling ride with a few stops here and there, and they were all like perfectly timed, and the tone was right. Like when the story would slow down, it felt very rewarding and well deserved instead of boring. I loved every part of this book. There's also a little side story, and not a side story, but a subplot for one of the characters that's introduced in this book, and it's really interesting. There's sort of a paranormal thing going on here for this other person, who's basically related to Judas's girlfriend. Sorry, that may have gone confusing for a second, but go and read this book. It's really great. This is Stephen King's son, if you didn't know already. I haven't read anything else by him, but this was a great place to start. And yeah, and also the scares weren't cheap either. There were really interesting things that happened. The ghost wasn't boring. The ghost was really cool and menacing. You could see that they had very cruel and evil intentions, and I loved that. It made you hate them even more. And the way they kind of plague the living is very intriguing and sort of like and puts you on the edge of your seat. And I thought this book did everything it aimed to do. And I loved the story too, not just because of the paranormal and horror aspect. I loved everything else going on. I loved the main character's backstory. I loved the conclusion of this book. Really loved the conclusion of this book. It wrapped itself up in such a sweet way that I really appreciated. I'm definitely going to read this book again sometime. I honestly, just like The Fisherman, I can't give enough praise for this or to this book. You know, it's so well done to me, and I loved every second of it. Every second of it. I should have read it. Well, no, it took me a little bit to read, and I'm happy that it did, because by the time it was done, I wished it wasn't. I really fucking loved this book. It was so well done. Anyway, that's Heart-Shaped Box. Hopefully I explained the plot enough to you. And, you know, all these reviews are about 10 minutes or over, and that's just because I'm giving you the full scope. I'm letting you know all the dirty details without spoiling it and ruining it for you. I'm just giving you key points, all right? And what I thought, if you're interested. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up or whatever, but also you don't have to do that. Just go read this book, okay? Go read Joe Hill's Heart-Shaped Box. Also, been out for a little while, but if you were sleeping on this book, stop sleeping, okay? Stop sleeping and read it. Anyway, that's that. Go check it out. And yeah, take care.